Greetings and welcome back. This is going to go up late tonight, but I will do my best to get it up today and try to hit 2 days in a row, which is not a great start to videoing every day of break. One reason this should have been up earlier is that voting has already begun for LeakyCon's Fandom Madness. That's the March Madness version of competition between fandoms. And let's get right into it. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on all of these because some of these are fandoms that I have never witnessed or read the books or seen the movies or watched the TV series. But I will give it my shot, and this will allow you to weigh in and tell me just exactly how wrong I am on some of these choices. Start up here at the top, Doctor Who versus Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My friend Cinder back in Michigan is going to be very unforgiving to me about this, but I got to go with the TARDIS and stick with Doctor Who there. Then Marvel versus DC, I'm a Marvel guy. Sleepy Hollow versus Once Upon a Time. We were big fans of Once Upon a Time in this household and couldn't wait for every episode, and then the series seemed to really get lost, and it may be why the genre kind of turned us off and we never watched Sleepy Hollow, but I really did love Once Upon a Time for quite a while. Was excited when we went to California Adventure and got to see some of the props from the show. So I am going to stick with Once Upon a Time right here. Love that Rumpelstiltskin, great villain. Percy Jackson versus Night Vale. I'm a huge fan of Rick Riordan and especially Percy Jackson, but what they did with the movies, I cannot abide. So I'm going to go with Night Vale on this one. Sherlock versus Merlin. This is an easy call for me because I've never seen Merlin and I've never seen Sherlock, but my daughter will kill me if I don't pick Sherlock. Star Wars versus Game of Thrones. This is very tough for me, but I was there when Star Wars came out in 1977 and loved the original series, at least the first 3. Not a huge fan like many people of the subsequent series, but I'm really excited to see what Disney can do. I know some people are very skeptical and don't think Disney should have ever gotten their hands on it, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Game of Thrones, we don't get cable here. I'm going to stick with Star Wars, stick with the one you know. Mortal Instruments over Pokemon. No contest in this house. Pikachu rules. Divergent versus Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know I said up here I was a Marvel guy, but I love to go with young adult authors and encourage my kids to read. That's my job after all. So I'm going to go with Divergent here. Right now I'm in the middle of Insurgent, halfway through. So I'm going to go with Divergent. Okay, let's go over here and look at the other side of the board. Supernatural versus Hannibal. Supernatural is going to get my vote here. Vlogbrothers versus The Walking Dead. Not a big zombies guy, but anyway. Vlogbrothers saved my life. Hank and John, I owe you big time. Glee versus Vampire Diaries. Again, I have to consider my own health here, and my daughter would kill me if I don't go with Glee. Not to mention all of my other musical theater friends from the past. Lord of the Rings versus Teen Wolf. I don't know this Teen Wolf. The only Teen Wolf I know is the Michael J. Fox one, which, you know, was fun, but no contest there. Lord of the Rings. Team Starkid I know was hugely popular at last year's LeakyCon. I don't know much about them beyond that. Avatar the Airbender I've seen and I really enjoy that series, although I was tweeting with some people today and they seem to think Team Starkid could go a long ways, maybe to the championship. I don't know enough about them, so I'm going to stick with the one I know and I really enjoyed, Avatar Airbender. And now we get to my toughest section of this, Star Trek versus Lost. I love the series Lost, but Star Trek. Just ask yourself, what would Captain Picard do? Star Trek. Go up to the top, Hunger Games versus Adventure Time. My daughter loves Adventure Time, but here I'm going to risk my health. I'm going to go with Hunger Games. Hunger Games, probably my one go-to book for reluctant readers in my English classrooms. Disney and My Little Pony, oh, this one had me pulling my hair out because this was by far my toughest choice. I have 2 daughters. One of them is named Leia Mulan, and the other one is Michelle. She's nicknamed Mickey. Sorry, My Little Pony, but I don't have any daughters named Twilight Sparkle or Applejack, so we're gonna go with Disney. But it was a very rough call, and I'm sorry, My Little Pony. I love you guys. Don't hold it against me. Next round, Doctor Who versus Marvel. I'm a Marvel guy, but I'm much more a Doctor Who guy. Doctor Who, Once Upon a Time versus Night Vale. We'll go with Night Vale here. Sherlock versus Star Wars. This gets tough now. Sherlock's very strong, but they don't pump out enough episodes. So I think we'll go with Star Wars. Besides, more fun to cosplay. Pokemon versus Divergent. I love the YA, like I said, but I'm going to go with Pokemon. Vlogbrothers versus Supernatural, sticking with Hank and John. Lord of the Rings versus Glee. Lord of the Rings was one of the moving books for me in high school, so I'm going to stick there. Star Trek versus Avatar the Airbender. Again, maybe because I'm old, I got a lot of history here, sticking with Star Trek. And here, Hunger Games versus Disney. For the reasons I cited earlier, I got to stick with my girls. Love Hunger Games. Disney, it is. Things are getting tough now. Doctor Who versus Night Vale. Peter Capaldi is 5 days older than me. There are not a lot of people in these fandoms older than me, so I'm going to stick with Doctor Who. Star Wars versus Pokemon. Now, again, these are heart-wrenching choices to make, but I'm going to go with Pokemon. Too many misfires in the Star Wars series. Lord of the Rings versus Vlogbrothers. Here's where I'm probably going to blow it because Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings. Vlogbrothers, so much every day, every week. So I'm sticking with them. Disney versus Star Trek. Now, I don't know. Oh my goodness. This is really tough, but I guess force of habit and momentum, I will stick with Disney once again. Now we get to the toughest showdowns. But we got Doctor Who versus Disney and Pokemon versus Vlogbrothers. Couldn't I just stop here? No, I can't. That would be the coward's way out. Doctor Who, I think, goes versus Disney. I haven't made up my mind on this one yet. Pokemon versus Vlogbrothers. How can I choose there? I'm gonna go with Hank and John. Doctor Who versus Disney. Frozen breaks the tie here. And now we're down to Disney versus the Vlogbrothers. I hate to make this choice. I've hated to make a lot of these choices. What the heck? It'll probably be Disney, but I will go all the way with Hank and John, the Vlogbrothers. How do you vote? Go on to Tumblr, I think, and blog and reblog and keep promoting your favorite fandom, and we'll see what happens. Am I right? Am I wrong? We'll see. Remember, that's LeakyCon's Fandom Madness, which is, I guess, where you go and maybe you can vote there, or they're looking for reblogs to see which ones will actually advance. And the voting started today or is starting tonight. I haven't seen any results yet. I don't know if they're posting them yet or they'll be posted tomorrow. But get online, put in your votes for your favorite fandoms. Don't forget to be awesome.